Hey guys, how's it going? Want to make this a regular thing? I'm going to go ahead and do some reviews over the games that we played yesterday during SACC, which are on Wednesdays. These are game 90, and so yeah, let's check out some of the games that we played in yesterday. So the first game I'm going to go over is actually one from my students. This one is from Yak. He's one of my private students I've been working with for about 2 years now. His rating is a little low at 1138 due to COVID, but he's done a lot of work and I'm hoping he's going to be going up more. Well, this is one game he played against Paul Keels. He played as black. Yak played black, and Paul Keels played white. Fairly a new player, but a decent player, rated 1593. He's played in a few tournaments with us. So, yeah, let's check out this game. Yak was playing white, and Paul Keels is playing with the black pieces. So, Paul Keels is playing with white pieces, Yak is playing with the black pieces. Here we go. So we'll start off with the e4, c5, pawn c3, as James Canty would say, Cecile for the kill. C3 Sicilian right here, which is a very good opening, and not many people seem to know it very well. D5 gets played. This is one of the two main lines that you could play. You go D5 or knight f6 right away. They most of the time are just going to transpose it to each other. E takes d5, queen takes d5, pawn to d4. A lot of time in this Sicilian, the Alpine Sicilian, that is, white actually will knowingly go into isolated pawn. So I like the way that Yak played it here, and which I recommended. Of course, do not take right away. Just keep developing your pieces. Knight c6, knight f3, bishop g4, developing your queenside pieces before playing e6 or e5 in some variations. Bishop to e2, pawn to e6. Bishop b2, by the way, is not really a challenging way to play this. Castle's kingside, knight to f6, rook e1, bishop b7. As you can see, black had a very good opening here. Yeah, I'm not too sure where kills went wrong in this, but white just never got as much oomph. A lot of time that you will get some of these challenging positions is whenever black takes right away. And the reason is if you take right away after pawn takes back, the white knight goes to c3, and that'll give you some problems there. Bishop g5, yeah, here was this question mark move of the game. The game had just started, and I had actually just passed by, and I saw Kills play this. It didn't take me long. Hopefully, it won't take you too long to realize that this is losing a piece right here. So this is one of those positions. Tactics, your tactic of the day. Black to move and win here. Black to move and win. I was very happy, even though I was fairly sure that he had seen it. I was hoping that he would not play right away, at least the move. Now you've just got to take back. So queen takes, bishop takes. The rest of the game was not too interesting. I mean, black won a piece, and let's see, how many moves is this? And 11 moves, right? So, yeah, I was happy that he did well again. He's only 1138, and he's just gotten into these longer time controls. Develops the pieces very nicely, and proceeds to trade. I can't say I'm too happy about the way that he played this as trade right away, but I definitely do not think it's a bad idea, right? When you're up in material, just trade. Here, I definitely did criticize him a little bit, but knight takes d8. I mean, how accurate do you have to be when you're up a piece? Well, just try to be as accurate as you can, right? I thought at least bishop takes, bishop b6 might be a better idea. Rerouting the bishop to f2, at least trying to put some pressure on something. I'm definitely an advocate of, anytime you make a move, try to make an idea behind it. Try not to get lazy and just kind of move without thinking. So knight takes, knight just goes back, and queen d5. Again, he's keeping up with this idea. Let's just make some trades here. Nothing wrong with that. Very nice move here, h7, h6. You want to make sure that there's no back rank checkmate ideas. Queen c5, b3, queen b4 again. Now Yak's just being mean here and forcing all the trades here. Again, the end game, not too crazy here. Yeah, king d1. If he plays king to d1, this is probably going to be best. Threatening to play king c2 if knight takes b3, right? So if knight takes b3, king c2. But I'm not sure if he didn't see this or maybe he was just disheartened, but he just went ahead and played king e3. Knight takes b3, king to d3, and bishop back. trades the last piece off, and now it's just an easy end game when you're up a piece. Very good technique here by Yak. Bishop c5. Of course, we're not going to take and lose that. And here, White went ahead and threw in the tile, just being down an easy piece here, even against his lower-rated opponent, which 1138. Yak definitely demonstrated that this was a how to win the position. Let's go and check out my game. I played against Delbert area Tal. That's Tal's his middle name, so I always like to call him Tal because it's always fun to say that I got to play Tal today, and I got to play with the black pieces. I played Delbert quite a few times. We're about a pool of 26 with every new players every once in a while. So I try to change my openings every time that I play, and this one was no different. We're going to go ahead and start off. He played e4, and I am very exclusive most of the time. I'm starting to expand my opening repertoire. I play Sicilian mostly all the time. So here I did want to choose something a little bit different since I figured he had prepared for me. As I think most people are treating me a little nicely these days and prepare for me. And I played d5. I went Scandi today. Not one of my favorite openings, but an easy opening nonetheless. Pawn takes, queen takes, d4. This is an interesting variation. Knight c3 is one of the main lines here that you usually have to prepare for. D4 actually allows me to do this interesting idea in the opening, which I've played against as White in some blitz games, and so I was like, well, let's try out this funky variation and see if you can, navigate through this correctly. I played knight c6, attacking the d4 pawn, and here if you go knight to f3, which is pretty much what most people play here, you go bishop g4, you castle queenside. And you can see that you're going to have really good pressure, especially when this rook gets here to put pressure on d4. And obviously, black is not hurting with development in this game either. My opponent went ahead and played a different move, which I didn't realize was so bad. He played bishop to e3 here, and apparently now black is just in very good positions. I think the win ratio here, at least from what I see off Elite Chess, was 45% win rate for black here. So I didn't realize it was that good move. The most challenging move here to play is going to play e5, which is what I played. He went ahead and played pawn c4. Again, the most challenging move in the position, which does bring up, again, these funky variations we're going to go over real quick. But I just want to point out, if he does try to take on e5, I would be very happy here in this position. And after queen takes d1 check, king takes d1, I'm not sure. I didn't really calculate too deeply, but I already had known like bishop g4 check, castles queenside is an idea. Or maybe just a simple and placid line of knight takes e5, just winning back your pawn away. And, I feel fairly confident in this position. I don't think my endgame is that bad. So the game continued with c4. And here there's a lot of different moves here for black to play. In fact, now this is actually the only good variation for white. Unfortunately, he did not play the best move after my move. The move that the computer recommends, which I knew was probably the best, was to play queen a5 check, but I played bishop b4 check here because I had a strange looking move here. It looks like it's losing material, but you're okay. I mean, I can't take on c3 right away, as after bishop d2 it's a little bit embarrassing because you're just about to drop a piece here. So he would have to have seen this variation, but even then I think I would be okay here. I'm going to play bishop takes, pawn takes, and then just play the knight back to b8. Pawn structure a little messed up. He has the bishop pair, but I figured it'd be easy development here. I'm still trying to take on c3 if needed. So I would have been happy with this. Unfortunately for him, he missed this idea, and after queen a5, he ended up playing knight gd2. And now black is just in a better position. Obviously, I don't want to allow d5, and I saw that I could win the bishop pair, which, hey, who doesn't want the bishop pair? After pawn takes, he can't take back with the knight because then he'll lose the pawn on c3. Can't take with the queen because obviously knight just takes. So knight takes d4, queen takes d4, knight f6, developing and stopping the g7 attack. And yeah, this is a tough position already. I had a feeling he was going to castle queenside, but I definitely didn't think it was going to be, the best thing also. But I guess it was the best. Let's see, what's the computer suggesting? Yeah, computer is giving black a definite advantage here, and looks like it's running around with knight to g3 idea, knight to f4. Yeah, here he went ahead and castle queenside, and yeah, I was excited about the future attack. I've already got some good pressure on a2 and c3. He's threatening checkmate right now, so let's go ahead and castle. I'm a very big believer in Morphy kind of rules, which is develop your pieces first, or maybe call it the Russian school idea, which is castle first, and then you're going to go ahead and castle first, and then you're going to go ahead and attack. Pawn to a3, move I was really hoping to see here. Yeah, let's do it. I'm up in development. I feel like I got everything good. These guys never get into the game. Let's do it. Bishop takes a3. Let's sacrifice for this attack right here. So bishop takes a3 was played. Knight to g3. Yeah, he did not accept this sacrifice. I mean, yeah, I to be honest, I don't think I would either. After pawn takes, queen takes, if you play king b1, it's pretty much game over right away. Bishop f5 check. I don't know where you move your king, so you have to play the rook up. Rook after d8. You know, again, these guys are not going to get into the game, so the game's is pretty much already over at this point. So, yeah, I don't think he'd want to play in this type of position. And the other line was that after queen takes a3, the best way to play would be king to d2, but I don't think anybody really wants to play, trot around with their king in the center. There's rook d8 ideas in the future. I got 2 pawns for the bishop. Plus, again, these guys are just out of play. I'm just going to play like bishop f5 maybe. And the threat here is rook to d8, and I don't know where this king is running to. Obviously, it's going to be kind of hard to, get this king to safety. So he went ahead and played knight to g3, which I don't blame him at all for this move. And here I saw a very cool idea, a little tricky, but the trick was not really part of it, but it was just, it was the best way I thought I could continue this attack. Bishop to g4, threatening the rook over here on d1, but also threatening this rook a to d8, which is the big idea. I had already seen that queen takes c3 check. If I could play this, was going to be checkmate. So the idea is to play rook to a d8. So I try to get a tempo off the rook, which it worked out this time. Pawn to f3. Obviously, bishop e2 is going to be a better move, blocking, but also helping develop so the rook can defend. Black should still have a good game here, but obviously not as strong as the following continuation is. After f3, now it's just game over here. Rook a to d8. The idea again is to try and kick the queen away so that we can take on c3 check. And there's really no good defense at this point to this idea. He went ahead and took on d8. He missed the idea completely. And after queen takes c3 check, he just went ahead and resigned. It ended up being a 14 move miniature. SACC is a San Antonio Chess Club. So we run these at Complete Chess on Wednesday. So every Wednesday we play 1 game per week for a month-long tournament. So SACC is a San Antonio Chess Club. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Bob. So queen takes c3 check, and it was game over. A cool variation to show you here is if you try to blockade with like knight to d5, again, you have the same kind of idea and tactic here. Hopefully you can spot it. I already had seen this again before playing my rook to d8. Knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes d5. Again, threatening queen to c3 check. You can't take again. And the development here is just brutal. Yeah, I've actually gotten that quite a bit. People will tell me South Africa. We're going to take a look at one more game that happened from the Wednesday night. Unfortunately, I usually have DGT boards at my chess club, but unfortunately, they were not able to record this last game. So the top 4 games. So I'll go ahead and just share one more game, which was the 4th board. Yeah, let's just take a look at this one. Angel Reyes is playing with the white pieces. He's 1571, and Alfredo Garcia is 1805 as black. And it was a pretty cool game. Angel starts off with his d4 move. He went ahead and played pawn f5. It's always fun to see a Dutch against d4, one of the most aggressive ways to play it. I do study the Dutch a little bit. I play it every once in a while. I play the Leningrad Dutch. I'll play the main Dutch line, and then there's also, of course, the Stonewall and even the Nimzovich version of it, right? So c4, knight f6, knight c3, e6. So we see we're going to be getting either a Stonewall or just the regular old Dutch. Pawn to g3. This is actually a very good way. This is a very good way to get the to play against the Dutch. White will you always have a nice positional advantage, especially in the Dutch. You're going to want to go for kingside attacks with black, so g3 is a good way to play against it. Oh, we host them on Lead Chess online. I'm starting those up again, probably starting next month, because I do some for Scholastics and I also do them for adults. And I was even running money tournaments for a little while. I think, but when I come back, I think it's just going to be for fun every Tuesday. That's when I was hosting them. So, yeah, if you want to, you're more than welcome to join us. Go ahead and go to the community. You can see the teams here. And you can go to Complete Chess. That's just the name of the chess company we have. And, yeah, you're more than welcome to join. And I'm going to start hosting these a little bit more. Like I said, I was hosting these on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. I don't think I'll be doing any cash tournaments, but just to grow the community and keep it going. So you're more than welcome to join those if you like. Bishop e7. Again, this is just an old school line. Bishop g2, castles, knight f3, d6, castles, and a very interesting move here, knight to a6. You don't see this idea too much these days. A lot of people will just go with queen e8 and go queen h5 right away for the kingside attack. Even pawn to b6 is pretty normal here, trying to fianchetto. That's why this whole fianchetto here for white is such a good idea. Rook to e1. White theoretically wants to play the pawn to e4 in these lines, so this is a very good idea. Pawn c5. This is why I love this knight here so much. The knight here on a6 is defending on c5, so if they do take, you get a very good knight, and the knight's going to run to the e4 square. I was blown away. I had missed this idea completely, so it was really fun to see a new version of this, or at least an old school version of this idea. Yeah, here it was a little hard. I was like, what do you play here as white? Let's see, what do you play here as white? I'm sure white has an advantage because these pawns can become backwards, but wow, okay. And that makes sense here. You want to try and put pressure on these pawns. So computer's just saying, you know what, let's just play pawn to e4, open up this position, and we'll have these hanging pawns in the center, and you can see that the queen and the rook and on the other pieces are just going to attack it. Unfortunately, the positional move that usually gets played here does not work. He went ahead and played pawn to d5. And this is perfect for the pawn structure because now we just go pawn e5 here for black. And now you have this nice little wall here, and you can even build up for a kingside attack. Pawn e4. A good move, theoretically. You want to try and blockade from this. Oof. Yeah, I like the way black played it here. Pawn takes, and here white makes a very big mistake and plays knight takes e4 right away. After this is already equality for black, if not just a better position. What do we play here? Well, he had the right idea of wanting to take with the knight here. The problem is that this is anytime you have this guy right here, which is a candidate pass pawn, you want to make sure you can blockade through it. So by taking right away, this is not good because after knight takes, rook takes, black can just play bishop f5 and kick the rook away. And now this pawn can become mobile, and also you can put pressure down the f file. So here, a very nice idea that's very typical in these lines, which I did talk to Angel after the game. I said, e4 was a very good move. You just want to make sure that you can take back with your knight. So instead of taking back with the knight right away, hopefully you see the idea here. Let's go ahead and play this knight to either d2 or we're going to play to g5. I like g5 here because it has some ideas of maybe going to e6. But here, this is a much stronger idea. I don't know, maybe black will play something like bishop g4, queen c2, and here we're just going to end up taking on e4 either way. I don't know, what does black play here? I'm probably complicating things. Let's just keep it simple. Let's go queen to b3. And I don't know, knight c7. And then here again, theoretically, this is what you want. You want to maintain the knight on here. So after knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and you can see this is a much better position here for white. The knight is just blockading this pawn, and it's really, it's going to take some work here for black to break through on the king side. Yeah, I'd be very happy. Again, this is very thematic for the Dutch here for white. Unfortunately, the game ended very fast, though. After this mistake, knight takes, rook takes, bishop f5. Well, interesting enough, this is the move that the computer's suggesting. Rook e2. It's a move I'd never really want to play, just because you see that this pin could come in right away. Ish. Rook b8 was played. Again, a very nice move. I mean, black's just all over the place. He's closed the center. Now he's going to try and he can go for a kingside attack over here. Or as you see with rook b8, the idea is to play b5 and open this up. If I'm playing a4 here, I'd probably play either a4 to kill this idea, or maybe just pawn b3. Angel here saw knight b4 as a threat, which almost like a pseudo threat. I'm not really too worried about this. The rook is defending these kind of ideas. So he played a3 and black was happy. b5. Here we go. Let's open up this position. Let's get all my pieces as active as possible. I mean, I guess the only bad piece in this position for black is this bishop. Black's rook has an open file. This rook has an open file. This knight's going to be maneuvered to c7 to put pressure on d5 and b5 in the future. And this queen will easily find a home either on the queen side or on the king side. Plenty of ideas here. Unfortunately for white, though, again, bad rook. Maybe this bishop could get better. This bishop's doing a good job defending, but blocked up by the pawn. The knight can be pinned. The queen. Tough. It's a very tough position here for white. Now the game just ends fast. Pawn h4, and that's a very bad move here. He said he was trying to get control of this g5 square, which, h4 definitely does that, but, anywhere where you're weak at, try not to make any pawn moves because it just makes more weaknesses. And this is definitely the case. After bishop g4 now, this bishop pin will be very, very annoying. Yeah, this is just going to be bad here. Bishop to g4. Pawn takes on b5. Knight c7. Everything's just turning out perfectly for black now. Queen to d3. Last mistake of the game. Knight takes b5. You can see the beautiful idea of the knight jumping to d4. It's going to be king of the game. And one more blunder for black. I mean, one more blunder for white here in this position. Bishop to g5. Uh-oh. Black to move and win some material. Here, white did not put the best defense up for this tactic and loses pretty fast. But, yeah, in bad positions, it's you'll find lots of bad moves. At this point, bishop takes f3 was played. And here, as white, you're just supposed to play bishop takes back. And after bishop takes, pawn takes. I mean, I guess queen takes is good here. Knight to d4 is good here. A lot of different moves in this position. Black is just going to be up a pawn and obviously have a good knight versus maybe this is a good bishop. I kind of doubt it. I think it's going to be a good knight versus a bad bishop. Unfortunately for Angel, though, he missed the idea. He thought he had to enter Mazoa or an in-between move and played bishop takes e7. And, of course, black just had the simple move bishop takes e2. And at this point, Angel went ahead and, threw in the towel, as he's just going to be down a piece here, whether it goes to the end game or not. These are 3 games that we played from yesterday's weekly Wednesday tournament. I'll be doing this every Thursday after the games, just kind of reviewing and showing some of our games that we play at our chess club over here. We have one master, a few strong players over 2,000. So, and then I do have a personal match tomorrow, which will be against Tula. He's another national master. We're going to be playing up on here, so that'll be at 9 p.m. Central U.S. Time. And then I do have a podcast I'll be doing with Emily Wynn, which will be next Wednesday on April 28th, if you want to check that out too. It'll be on Twitch, so if you have any questions, you feel free to ask her. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for checking this out. This was a quick little stream right before